Long time no see. Hi guys, I've just been busy. I had a lot of tests, I had break, and I didn't even really vlog over break because I was just trying to relax. And then whenever Joe's here, we're just trying to spend time with each other. Really no excuses, but sorry, I'm here now because I wanted to be real and talk to you about getting a bad grade in PA school, or even just in high school or college or whenever. So this past week I had an anatomy test, so based on lecture material, and then I had an anatomy practical, so that's in the cadaver lab with pins in the cadaver, saying what that structure is, and then maybe the clinical significance of that. So for the first time in PA school I got a bad grade. So I got a really bad grade. Should I tell you my grade? I guess. I got a 70 on my lab practical, which I was really disappointed on. I got an A on the lecture exam, so clearly I knew what I was doing. I had studied very hard for both of these exams. I think my brain just kind of blacked out, but there's really, there's no excuse. It happened, whatever. On the first day of orientation back in January, the director of our program came over and he said, well, he told our entire class, he was like, okay guys, I know you're used to getting A's, but you have to understand PA school, it's not about the grades. You're not all going to get A's. It's just kind of something you have to accept. And I think that's really hard for all of us because we had to work so hard to get into PA school. And throughout PA school so far, so only like 3 months in, I had been getting A's on all exams and assignments, and I was doing really good. I was really proud of myself. I was getting better grades than I did in undergrad. So it's really hard when you get a bad grade and when you compare yourself to your classmates, because the average for this test was really high, so it was kind of even more disappointing to get such a low grade. I was talking to one of my professors and she was questioning whether she should even tell us the median for our test because it kind of can really just get you down if you're below that. And she just was like wondering if she should even tell us because we do compare ourselves, and I know we shouldn't, but I don't know, it was just kind of a reality check that, hey, I'm human, we can't all get A's in PA school. I've learned from my mistakes and I'll try to study better for the next test. But yeah, it's just hard. I had a bad day when I got my grade back, but gotta get back into it and just keep on studying because I have a test this week, I have 2 the next week, and then I have 2 weeks of nothing, and then finals week, and I'm going to be done with my first semester of didactic year, which is crazy. We have 4 semesters of didactic year and then a full 12 months of clinicals. So it's going by super quick. We're all a little nervous because we know that the summer semester is one of the hardest semesters, and it kind of stinks that it's going to be warm out when we're studying all day. We also got our schedule for next semester. We don't have to wake up at 8 every single morning or have class every single morning at 8. I think on Mondays we have it at 8, Tuesdays and Wednesdays it's at like 10 a.m. something like that. So but we're in class a lot more often, so it's going to be harder to find time to study. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a little update. So I thought maybe I could also talk about how I study for PA school. So for the first time I'm using OneNote. That's a Microsoft application. I had heard about it before, but I'm using it for PA school. A lot of my classmates use it, and during orientation they actually talked a little bit about it. So pretty much you can create notebooks, and then within that you can create like little sub tabs. So I have my notebook for semester 1, and then I have sub tabs for each class, and then within each sub tab I have other tabs for each PowerPoint that we go over. So at my school we do PowerPoints for each class, and then like clinical things such as physical assessment, we have lab, so practicing on each other for physical examinations and all that stuff. So I study differently for different classes. So for example, anatomy, my professor gives us objectives, so each week after we finish a certain subject, like let's say we finish abdomen, I'll look at the objectives that correspond to the PowerPoint, and I will go to the textbook and fill all those in. And that's just so I'm staying on top of my work and don't have to do it like the week before the test starts, because that would be a lot of work. So pretty much just filling in those objectives and studying from the objectives is how I study for anatomy. And it can be overwhelming how much information there is. Like last test, I think my study guide was like 70 pages long, but that's also because I'm a little excessive and I put pictures in on my Word document, so don't be scared by that. And then for a class like physical assessment, I'm looking over the PowerPoints because those PowerPoints have a lot more information on the slides, going through my own notes, quizzing myself, as well as looking to the textbook and going over our skills sheets that we get because those are also important. So I'm all about repetition. I'm not the kind of person who can look at something once and immediately get it. I'm not saying that everyone's like that. I'm definitely not. So I like repetition, so I'll usually start studying for a test a week before. So I'm getting it in my head, and then if things I don't understand, I talk it out with my friends. Group studying wasn't something I really did in undergrad. I didn't really like it, but now I see how it's effective. So for anatomy, jumping back to anatomy, my friends and I will go over the objectives together, so we're talking it out, and if there's things we don't understand, we can then understand it better and maybe like add to our notes something that we didn't have before. So it's really helpful to do that. And then for other classes, like I have a diagnostic methods class that's all about how to read EKGs. So that's more like it's kind of like a math class. So looking and practicing is the best way to get better at it so that you can identify certain irregularities and arrhythmias and all that stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much how I study. I like making study guides. I've learned that's how I did best in undergrad. I originally started with flashcards in undergrad, and I like flashcards for simple things. Like for example, in biochem in undergrad, I use flashcards for the amino acids. Something that's not too extreme, but something that you sadly do have to just memorize and put into your brain. But it's too much to make flashcards for everything in PA school because there's just so much information. So yeah, this was kind of a short video, but I just wanted to come on here and tell you guys that it's okay if you get a bad grade. If you're an undergrad right now trying to get into PA school, it's okay to get a bad grade. It's not going to kill you. My science GPA, I should make a video on all my stats, but my science GPA was a 3.49. I got a lot of B's, B pluses, and A minuses in my science classes. I didn't get a lot of A's in my science classes, and I'm in PA school. I only applied once and I got into PA school, and you guys can do it too. Don't get down on yourself if you get a bad grade. I have to take my own advice. One of my classmates texted me while I texted him saying like, hey, like I didn't do great on this test, and he's like, you kind of just got to go with the flow. It's not about getting good grades in PA school. We're all going to become PAs. We just have to, you know, learn the information. It's better to understand the information than to just memorize it all and then forget about it. So as long as I know that I know the information, even though my test grade may not reflect that, I know it, and it just wasn't a good representation. So yes, I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe. Bye guys.